folks, I hope you're all having a great day. I'm going to be taking a look at a former fitness influencer now who's kind of like a Christian mom influencer, sort of, kind of. She wants to be a mom, but right now I don't know what's going on with all that stuff. We might look into that later. I'm looking at Brittany Dawn Nelson. She used to be known as Brittany Dawn Davis. Now, the reason I'm looking at her specifically is because she has a lawsuit here in Texas that is kind of a big deal, at least for the people in the area. I think that she lived actually not too far from, like she lived in the Dallas area, which is where I am currently located. So first of all, we're going to take a look at what she really wants out of life with a 9-card spread or a portrait spread using the Lenormand. These are the 7th Sphere Lenormand from Labyrinthos if you would like to check them out for yourself. Around here, we shuffle until Spirit tells us to stop. Okay, if you know, you know, but it's the dog. Wasn't there some kind of issue she had with a dog and her husband did something like shot an injured dog instead of them rushing them to a 24-hour vet? I know that around Dallas, we have plenty of 24-hour, emergency pet hospitals, they're available. It's just the first top row, where I'm laying them out left to right, but that stood out to me instantly. Top row, automatically I see her being incredibly secretive when it comes to things that she feels. She's never going to tell everybody about all of her feelings. There's some kind of gamble, she likes to use her feelings as a card in the sleeve, if you will, if you're going to cheat at the poker table, if that makes any sense. This can be an emotionally destructive woman, I can see. Interesting that a man appears in the middle. Her central theme is destruction. It looks like there is a man in her life, quite possibly her husband, who's going to be destructive to her family. This lands on the house of the tree. If you look at my some of my other videos where I do grand tableaus, there's something called houses, and these are the numbers. As you can see, the numbers that appear that sit below the entire spread. So in this case, this lands on 5, which is the tree, which is about family, establishing roots. And whatever I can see that he's also a very secretive person. He lands on the house of the house, which is about what goes on behind closed doors, the things that you don't want the public to see. So in a way, you could say that these people kind of deserve each other. And it looks like this person is something that she has encountered in previous relationships before. This destruction is not new, but he does increase its intensity because obviously they're going to be married, right? Stork lands on the house of the clouds, which is about a confusion, not seeing things clearly. They're not going to see clearly at all that they are poisonous for each other, probably because the universe feels like they kind of deserve each other. They're made to be together because the universe wants them to kind of low-key destroy each other, at least emotionally, mentally, spiritually. It's interesting. The universe wants them in a place where they need the universe. The universe wants them at rock bottom, and they're going to use this couple as a way to get them there. I was talking about the clover. There's the number. I don't know if you can see this clearly, but it says 2. So here, I was talking about an emotional gamble, and here it's a destructive emotional gamble that she is taking right now. So what does she really, really want out of life? She wants to do something, apparently, that's very destructive and is a huge gamble for her. Parenting, being part of a family, I'll bet that's what this is. He's going to play a role in this, but at the end of the day, her card is the central theme of mice. She wants a family, this emotional big thing, but it's a really big risk for whatever kid has the unfortunate luck of being in her family. That poor kid, well, basically, Spirit feels bad for the kid that is born into the family. She is eventually going to get pregnant. Her spirit guides, her ancestors, the universe may have been using a miscarriage as a way to say, I don't want you to have children. Not with this partner, not in this context. That's her present reality. She wants to be a parent, and they're saying that this is destructive as hell. Her past is chasing men. Like, that's literally what this is. She cannot stop chasing the approval of men. Everything that she does, her fitness influencer days, her like how she posed, why she was a fitness influencer to begin with, is all about to attract the specific kind of men that she liked. And now she has the man that she wants. But she doesn't know why they're so destructive together. She doesn't know why they have so many awful things happen to them. I see someone who is loyal, who will take secrets to the grave with them because it's a pride issue. I still see those things being exposed. Do you see this? That's the sun in the corner. She's going to try to take things to the grave, but it's going to be really difficult because the sun and the anchors say there's stuff going to be pulled up for years. I suspect that this could be part of the legal process, but the universe is using the legal process and the law and all that, the lawsuit, as a tool. Ultimately, the universe is going to use other tools like a lawsuit to get into Brittany Dawn's attention. I keep Dawn's attention. They're going to keep trying to get her attention with things like a lawsuit. Her secrets are going to be exposed, and it's going to be humiliating when it happens. That was her past. Here's her present, and here's her future. I see her like continually having the secrets that she wanted to keep down so hard. She worked hard to keep this under wraps, to keep this under the night. And she's feeling really bad about this too. Whatever this is, she feels that it's wrong. There's something, she feels the wrongness underneath all of what she's doing. And she's terrified of the day when, it really, really gets pulled out. And I see that in the future, it's just going to be continually painful for her. It's just going to be secrets come out at the most inconvenient, awful times. And it's just going to be emotionally destructive for her, basically. She's going to continually have the financial gambles that she took, and specifically this lands on the house of, here I am as if I can reveal something, but this lands on the house of, 9 cards. So this is about the coffin. 8 is the number of the coffin, and that is what is hidden underneath. All these gambles that she's taken are of course going to be revealed, and quickly. I'm seeing some long-term deceptions because this lands on the house of the snake. These are going to be for one thing, she is that kind of individual, okay? It's part of one of her corner cards. That is who she is as a person. She is someone who is a long-term, maybe a pathological liar, if you will. It just comes very easily to her. And there we go with the destructive secrets. She's a pathological liar. It comes quite naturally to her. That's going to get exposed. 9, this is going to be exposed on social media. The exact context that she wants to impress so badly, it's going to be exposed and revealed in that kind of context. I've already read this row and that row as well. I'd say that that's pretty detailed for a portrait spread. This is what she wants out of life, but the universe sees it exactly for what it is. She wants a relatively innocent thing by anyone else's standards, but there's some hidden motives underneath this. She's trying to use the family in a really destructive way to cover up the lies that she's told, and people are going to discover this. Let me clear off this particular reading and I'll get reset. So I want to look into, or Spirit has asked me to look into the long-term consequences for her behavior. I'm feeling like the state of Texas has some pretty serious financial consequences for her. I wonder if if she isn't being asked to stay in Texas until, restitution has been paid. I wonder if wages won't be garnished somehow if they're not going to if the state of Texas isn't going to contact YouTube and say some of her wages, or whoever cuts her a check for her social media presence, that's going to be garnished. By the way, I'm using the Wildwood Tarot. So I'm not using any spread in particular. I'm just telling a story between cards right now. That's a burden that she can't let go of for a long time because she's a kid in how she acts. She's the Page of Bows. This is someone who does the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, but basically has shit results, but continues to persist because, well, once again, we saw that she really has quite a bit that she wants to cover up. And as long as she's in that kind of mindset where she has stuff she wants to cover up, she doesn't want a particular message to get out, and that's something that I associate with the Page. She doesn't want something in particular to get out, so yeah, she's gonna feel that kind of desperate, that kind of, I don't want to go, I don't want to I don't want this out there. I'll do a lot to keep this out of the public's eye. It's interesting that we've got the Page of Bows in reverse and also the King of Bows together. So that's someone who might affect. This also might be her husband. She might feel like she can be a weaker, more childish individual when she's got a more of a, I think it's interesting, more of a poisonous individual next to her. This is someone who knows when to hide when it's time to hide and when to strike when it's time to strike. And I'm getting kind of like a police officer kind of feel. I know that's what her husband used to be. And he can't be a police officer anymore. These are people who claim to uphold tradition, who claim to love tradition, but are not above using traditional con person tactics to get what it is they want. They're not above subverting really neat traditions like family, like faith, for instance, in order to get what it is that they want. And it looks like these two people deserve each other. And that's also why this is going to be the burden that never stops giving, if you will, they are going to be carrying this around for a long time, because these aren't like faith and family are two kind of like great big deal kind of community things, right? And if the universe sees you misusing a gift that was given to you, I feel like this is kind of like one of those situations where it's kind of like they're being given like just enough rope to hang themselves with. Their burden will renew itself over and over and over. It's like never going to stop. They're going to get what they want, like a kid, for instance. They're going to get the little boy that they always wanted. God forbid that they get a little girl, because that poor little thing is going to be fed to the wolves, like allegedly for entertainment purposes only, so to speak. Okay. That poor little girl would not do well. I suspect like a little boy would probably be better for their context, because that little boy would probably be put up on a pedestal, right? I can see with that kind of family, they're going to be that kind of those kinds of people, parents who prefer boys over girls, right? I'm just saying. They are going to get what they want, but when they get what they want, like the property, the kids, the house, the trucks, or whatever the fuck they want, it's going to be never-ending problems. The truck's going to be a lemon. The house is going to need repairs all the time. The kids are going to be sick all the time, or they're going to have like behavioral issues because look at the parents. I'm not like, yeah, like it's going to be like forever renewing problems. And again, we got a page landing on a page. These people are going to like never stop being like people who like waste their money. They're always going to have like a childlike, I keep saying they, Brittany Dawn specifically, I see is just going to have like a perpetually childish mindset about money. Like she's never going to like really appreciate the value of a dollar. She's going to be like really protective of the things, like once again that whole dog card that popped up at the very beginning. She's a cutthroat kind of individual. Okay, that's what I would get from that dog card earlier, and now here with the Page of Pentacles, or the Page of Stones in this case, the Lynx. That's kind of an aggressive little cat. If you like find it somehow and you scare it, it can be quite aggressive if you corner it. And I see her being that kind of like, again, a little cat. Just kind of cute up until like you start flipping your shit, or she starts flipping her shit, okay? Got here the Knight of Arrows. This is someone who is watching their money like a hawk, who's watching this situation cycle in and out over and over like a hawk. They're watching for their returns on their investments, but they're not coming in the way that they want them to come in. These cards are all related to each other. So again, I look at them from like across, like horizontally, it's also like vertically. So I'm looking at how like they're going to be trying to do things correctly, but it all comes out askew. They watch these investments come in, but they've got such a teenagerish, or he specifically has a teenagerish kind of mentality about money that doesn't serve them well. It's kind of like they're spendthrifts. They don't have hardly any savings. They don't have any savings, maybe, probably, to speak of. Like, when I say investments, I'm using that term really loosely. Like, they might be into like sexy, fashionable things like crypto and like the hottest stocks, but they're not going to be into things like ETFs because that yields far too little. They want fast cash. These are people who want lots of money really, really quickly. And once again, I discussed how these people deserve each other. These people deserve each other, and that's what these Well, that's what these cards are literally saying. And I'm also seeing that Brittany and her husband are going to work together when it comes to, like we were saying earlier, they're going to work together when it comes to being destructive, when it comes to family, to their kids. They're going to be using their kids for social media clout, as well as a way to cover up some stuff that they want to hide from the law. Man, fuck these people. Perverse, says Spirit. Perversion of good blessings. Undeserved blessings. They're being given more than enough rope to hang themselves with. Their karmic debts are going to be piled to the roofs of heaven. That's the Ten of Cups, and it's in reverse. They're not going to get the happy family that they wanted. And honestly, I don't know that these kinds of people are cut out for, like, the parents are where it's at. Like, if anyone ever has questions about, like, why, say, for instance, a young kid, like a 6-year-old, for instance, is acting up, look back at the parents, because those are the adults in the room. They're the ones who are setting the example or not being good examples, for instance. It all starts with them. They're going to wonder why they can't have happy things, like when the kids get older, the kids that they're going to have, like when the teenage boys that they're going to have, I pray that they have teenage boys, when they get older, they're going to have behavioral problems. They're going to wonder, like, it's possible that the teens are going to be sent away to, like, one of those camps where you basically have your kid tortured for, like, however long you want them tortured. They're going to wonder why all these awful things happen to them, and they're never going to see how they were always the root of the problem. When they don't respect tradition, the universe is going to send aspects of the universe, or the universe is going to send aspects of our earthly world to, like, such as illness, for instance. It's going to do something to hurt us, to remind us that you can't take good gifts from the universe and do shit with them without real consequences coming attached to them. I see the universe demanding that Brittany Dawn pay it back in some way. Because here it's the Page of Bows in reverse when it comes to money. And so I suspect that quite literally she's going to be forced to pay restitution, being forced once again to stay here in Texas. But it extends to more than that. It's not just financial restitution to the people that she cheated. She is going to be asked to give, like, emotional, spiritual restitution, mental restitution to the kids that she's going to raise in the future, that, or not raise, however you want to look at it. They're going to demand that she pay them back for the gifts that she abused. We have no idea. She has no idea about what's brewing underneath the surface. I don't know if you can see that, but there's an egg underneath this particular, in this particular image. It's underneath the surface, and it's a fast-moving river. There's stuff happening so quickly that we don't even begin to see. There are, like, many guiding spirit, many deities use the moon as one of their symbols. My eye is drawn to the moon right now. Specifically, there are deities watching over them, watching them even. I'm specifically getting Yahweh. Since they are invoking Yahweh's name, he is watching them like a hawk, and he's going to be inciting consequences again through husband. I'm getting Jordan, and I could be wrong on that. I'm sorry. But God is going to be, Yahweh is going to be sending consequences to Brittany through her husband. Her husband is abusive, a deeply abusive individual. You know, I saw that video of her former police officer husband really hurting that particular individual that he arrested. I don't know exactly when that video, I need to look back on those kinds of things. He's not above doing that stuff to Brittany, especially when it's behind closed doors. Remember in the Lenormand reading that he landed on the house of the house, which is, there's all kinds of stuff going on behind closed doors that we're not going to see very easily, not until much later. But the universe is interested in turning the secrets of this particular couple and their future family inside out. That's the Tower. That is their version of the Tower. And the Hanged Man. The Wildwood is really kind of cool when it comes to this card. It's called the Blasted Oak, and I hope that my camera doesn't go crazy. But right here, this is the Hanged Man, and the universe is saying, Hanged Man, you have been up in that tree for way too long. It's time to come down. You can see that there is fire burning the bindings that kept him attached to the tree. But you'll also notice that none of the bindings, even though they're on fire, he's not being burned here. Also, if you take a look at the card in reverse, it doesn't look like he's particularly surprised or distressed that this is happening. It's kind of like he expected this to happen, and like he just continued to stay in the tree for too long. So right here, universe is taking her out of her comfort space and is saying, you can't be here anymore. I'm possibly seeing divorce, a really nasty custody battle, a custody arrangement that she does not particularly want. It might be that one of their parents takes care of the kids for a while. And there might be a time period where she just runs wild. There's going to be a time where she grieves because she didn't want this marriage to fall apart the way that it did. It's going to be kind of like traumatic, I can see. This isn't going to be fun. I guess I should have said earlier, divorce. I saw that this was going to be an unhappy family, and yeah, I'm really getting that, like, when it happens, like, let's say inside the next 10 years or so, maybe a little bit more, somewhere around there, they're going to be in denial for a while that this isn't working out. It's when, like, the kids, like, really start to blow up at them, that they're going to start to realize this is more trouble than it's worth, and that's when it's going to be kind of like pulling up a thread from a rug, if you will. It's going to be like, this isn't working, and they gradually going to realize that a lot of other parts of their life aren't working. There's the possibility for maturity then, but I don't know whether they're going to take it or not. Spirit is shaking her head no. Folks, that's enough. That was an exhausting reading. Again, this is another really shitty person, kind of like I read with Shane and Ryland the other day. This is a really shitty person. There's a lot of spiritual manure that's just eventually gets like way too difficult to talk about. Y'all have a great day, okay? Take care.